rally last night in Hammond, Louisiana. Brother C.T. Townsend, I don't know if y'all know C.T., but those of you do know him. You know we were blessed, and we were double blessed last night. Had one of our young people saved up there last night. That was what I've been praying for since the first time he came. And hey, listen, God won the battle last night. And gloriously saved him. Amen. So that really meant a lot to me. Hebrews chapter, I got about 11 sermons. I can't preach all of them this morning. Try to get 9 in this morning if we got time before dark. To try to get them all in. We ask you to just bear with me, because when I go to revival services, youth rallies and things like that, I get a little carried away. One of these days when I get carried away, I'll get carried away. All right, chapter 11, verse 8. Verse 8. The God of our faith. The message this morning, the God of our faith. Chapter 11. The book of Hebrews, verse number 8. Father, I need your help now. God, I can't preach, but Lord, you sure can. And Lord, I ask you to do that through me this morning. Father, I want to share a message that will tender the hearts of those that don't know you as Lord and Savior, God, but those that have been praying about it, those that you've been convicting about it, Lord. God, I ask right now for strength for them to step out by faith and trust you. God, I know the devil may out like it's too big of a thing for God to do. But I assure you that it's not too big of a thing for God to do to save you. So, Lord, I ask you to help me now. In Jesus' name. Chapter 11, verse 8, the Bible says, by faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out, not knowing whither he went. That's by faith. But didn't know where he's going. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead. Here we go, one more time. And therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky, multitudes, and that's talking about Abraham when he was past the age to be able to father a child, then more than the stars of heaven that he did. And as the sands which is by the seashore, innumerable, these all died in faith, not having received the promises, but have seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is, a heavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. By faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promise offered up his only begotten Son, of whom it is said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. You can be seated. This speaks of a great faith that Abraham had. It says he was sent by God. He was told by God, if you'll leave your father's house, if you'll leave your home country, if you'll trust me and head out the way that I direct you to go, I'll go with you all the way, and I'll be your God, and I will bless you, and I will make of you a great nation. Now Abraham was of a family that served idols. His father and them made their living in making idols and building idols. This was a great stretch for Abraham to trust a God he had never seen. To trust a God so fully to leave his home, to leave what he knew, that was familiar to him, that he had been raised in, that he was assured that he could make a living in throughout the rest of his life. He was covered. All he had to do was stay under Daddy's umbrella, under his father's umbrella there, and the business goes to him, and the great inheritance goes to him, and all the trials of life, and all the problems that we normally face, you have to worry about them. Everything was taken care of. And God said, I want you to leave it. I want you to abandon it. I want you to walk off. I want you to trust me. I want you to trust me, and if you'll trust me, I'll make of you a great nation. So what is faith? This is the faith that Abraham had. It says in chapter 11, verse 1, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. It is to believe to the point of action. That's faith. To believe to the point of action. People say, I have faith in God, but what does it do for you? Does it cause an action in you? Does it cause you to do anything because you do have faith? Oh, well, no. I mean, I go to church on Sunday and try to do what I can through the week, try to preach to people. Hey, listen to me. If you're a child of God, you're supposed to have a place of service. You're supposed to have a particular service that you do. And if you don't have that, then you're not right with God. And that's the whole problem with your relationship with God. You ain't got nothing to do. You won't do nothing. So it's not fulfilling to you. It's empty. It's cold. It's boring. But if you'll do that you've been called to do, the service you've been called to do, you'll be so busy fulfilling God's call on your life that you won't be able to pay attention to all the people all around you that ain't serving God like they're supposed to. And then you will become the great critic of the world. Amen? You look at all the things here at the church that could be done, even as you look around the service this morning. Look, the choir about half full this morning. I understand a lot of folks are sick, and I know some folks are providentially hindered. I understand that, but that's not the biggest gap in there. And listen, what an opportunity to serve in the choir. Think about that. It is the only place that you can just right off the bat, you can get criticism, bang, just like that. You can join the choir, they start talking about you before dawn. You can be the biggest rascal in church just like that. You can get where nobody likes you just like that. You can get where everybody's jealous of you because you are trying and they ain't. Just like from daylight to dark. You can come out of the dark into the light. Amen? Just by joining the choir. That's service. Why? Because it takes some effort on your part. It takes some effort on your part. Why are you sitting back there? Well, you're part of the problem then. Won't you be part of the solution? Amen? I'd rather be part of the solution than I have the problem. Amen? Amen. That's good stuff. But that's by faith. You have to do it by faith. Well, would it be fun? Not all the time. Will it be aggravating? Yeah. Will people talk about you? Yeah. Will people be jealous of you? Yeah. Will they make fun of you? Yeah. Criticize you? Yeah. Well, what's the good part about it? Amen. The master. It's the master. That's the good part about it. Because that trumps everything down here. Listen, when you can get me to look heavenward, when you get me to look up yonder, it trumps everything, all these people doing that. It trumps all that. It trumps every bit of that. Just like that. Just like, I even like being talked about. I got used to it. About 30 years of ministry now, I got kind of used to it. I like it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't let it bother me and, make me cry. And in pity party, I spent several years doing that. Got nowhere. Gained no ground like that. But when I started not mattering to me, and people say, well, you know, that preacher down there, man, he acts crazy. Big old fat guy hollering all the time, almost danced this morning. I think he nearby danced up there. And if he'd been dancing that bit, I'd walk right up there. Hey, I get talked about all of it. I like it now, though. It gives you something to talk about and you leave other folks alone for a little while. You don't beat on them someday. Amen. And I'm big enough to take it. Amen. But listen, you need to do something by faith. You need to do something by faith. Because when you exercise your faith, you increase your faith. Your faith becomes stronger. You become more familiar with it. And you start liking it. You start liking that faith and what it does for you and how it makes you feel. But when you accomplish those things that God has set out before you to do, it's a great thing. So we're talking about now this morning the God of our faith. All of God's blessings comes through our faith. Our faith action. Our faith. Now listen, saying you got faith don't mean that. Oh, I got all the faith in the world. You ain't done it. You don't even come to church half the time. When you do, you don't do nothing but gripe and complain. That can't be faith. If that's faith, I don't want none. That couldn't be it. Well, you can't claim you got faith, but when it causes you to do nothing but cause contention and strife, that ain't faith. That's devil. Amen? So don't confuse the devil with faith. Amen. I just want to make 3 points and I'll close. 3 points. Like I said this before, I'd like to preach about another 15 minutes. Never have done it, but I'd like to. Amen? Amen. It's a goal I've set. Never accomplished it, but I'm working on it. All right, number 1 point in this message this morning, I want you to think about it. We're talking about the God of our faith. The God of our faith. Look at the call of Abraham. God said, if you'll leave your home, he said, I'll make of you a great nation, and I'll bless those that bless you, and I'll curse those that curse you, and I'll make your descendants more than the sands of the sea, more than the stars of the sky. Abraham didn't know anything. Listen to me. Abraham didn't have the New Testament to read to find out his name was going to be in there 2,000 years later. He didn't know he was going to be in the book of faith. So he didn't know that. He hadn't read his story because his story hadn't been written yet. But oh, what a story. Amen. But see, he didn't have the privilege of being able to see his story beforehand. He just trusted God that that's the true story. That's the way it was going to turn out. Why? Because God said so. Because God's big enough, the God of our faith is big enough. This is one thing, number 1 point is this when we talk about big. God is bigger than our faith. He's bigger than our faith. The promise in Abraham's call, he said, I'm going to give you a new land. All that your daddy out here, all your inheritance, all that, that's chicken feed compared to what I'm going to give you if you'll trust me. He said, I'll give you a new land. He said, I'll make of you a great nation. He said, I'll bless you. I'll make your name great. I'll write you. He didn't tell him this, but he could have. He said, I'll write your name in the Bible. You'll be one of the great patriarchs of faith. You'll be known for your faith. You'll be called the father of faith. What a blessing. So, all nations to be blessed through you. That's a pretty big call. All nations, if you'll follow me, all nations throughout all civilizations will be blessed if you'll trust me, Abraham. Abraham fell for it. God blesses, or God's blessings went beyond Abraham's ability to comprehend. He couldn't comprehend. He couldn't even think like God was talking. He couldn't even imagine what God was really saying. He couldn't imagine that he would really be a blessing to all nations throughout all time. He couldn't imagine that. And listen to me. He didn't know about the heroes of faith. He didn't know that he would still be honored even in 2019. He didn't know that. He didn't know he'd still be honored 2,000 years later. He didn't know his name would appear in the Bible. But God blessed his faith beyond his expectation. Listen to me. Listen to me. You would say, Brother Jimmy, I thought about being saved. But when I come down to it, when I start to make that move, I'm not really sure if I have enough faith. Let me tell you, you do. You got it. You got it. You got any faith? Oh yeah, I got faith. That's it. That's all you need. A desire. An awareness that, hey, I'm lost. If I did die like this, if I did die, if I did die, that's an eternity separated from God, from my family. God made a provision for me to spend eternity with my mom and daddy, with my grandma and grandpa and their grandmas and grandpa. God made a provision for me if I just accept it. What a God. Not only can I spend eternity with Him, but all of those of us that have passed on before, I get to see Him again. I get to spend eternity there. And not only that, I'll get them to live, I'll get them to be able to live a life of peace if they are a child of God, and just knowing they ain't got to worry about me. Heaven's mine. And if I leave here today, I'll see you over yonder. Listen, I guarantee you, I'll see you over there. And if the Lord let me, I'll be standing right at the gate when I hear you coming. I'll be going, oh, here she comes. Praise the Lord. If the rapture hadn't happened yet, and if the Lord will give me permission to do so, every time one of y'all head that way, every time one of those that I love, those, I'll run down to the gate. I'll say, oh, boy. When they get here, I'm going to show them. I'm going to go show them Jesus first. I'm going to go show them my mansion that they're making for me. Amen. Oh, Lord, have mercy. But you got enough faith. I'm going to assure you this morning, you okay. Come on like you are. Come on like you are. Because it'll take just a little faith. I want you to think about this. So God's bigger than your faith. That's point number one. Point number two, then God's better than your faith. Sarah's accomplishment by faith. Look at her. 90 years old. God said you're going to have a baby. She lied. And then God confronted her on it, and she lied. She not only lied, she lied. God said, you lied? And then Sarah said, no, not me. He said, you did done. I heard you. You lied when I said you was going to have a baby at 90 years old. But by faith, she trusted Him. She was well past the age of being able to bear a child. God honored her small faith and gave her a son. Gave her a son in her old age, which was impossible. But nothing impossible with God. And Sarah didn't have, I mean, she lied. She thought it was funny. She thanked God you're kidding. Not me. Lord, I looked in the mirror this morning and thought about some things, and I'm not going to be able to pull that one off. I ain't going to be getting pregnant in no time soon, Lord. He said, you are. She said, really? He said, that's enough faith. Yeah. God can accomplish more with you than you think He can. Oh, the devil's got his food, the flesh has got his food, but why? The devil don't want you serving God, nor does the flesh want you serving God. The flesh wants to do what it wants to do, and the devil wants to destroy your life. That's his only motive. He wants to destroy your life. So of course he's not going to promote it. Flesh is not going to promote it. Why? Because the flesh wants to do what the flesh wants to do. What? Run around naked on the beach drinking drinks. Stuff like that. That's what the flesh wants to do. Stay out of church. Do your own thing. Don't mind God. Don't fall under the authority of God Almighty. Don't do nothing because you got to. I ain't got to do nothing. Well, I tell you what, as a child of God, you can know where that pay taxes and die, but I'm going to add one more that you got to serve God. You got to walk with God or He'll bust your behind. So I go ahead that day straight. You got to listen to God and follow Him. You got to pay taxes and you got to die. But I guarantee you, as a child of God, if you are a child of God, you won't run wild alone. God will reel you in. He'll set the hook and reel you in. Bring you to the bank flopping. Amen. Amen. He brought me to the bank flopping several times. Thank God He missed me with that stick. You know that stick you used to kill that fish and quit flopping? Oh, thank God He missed me and I flopped back out in the water. And I said, Lord, I ain't doing that no more. God almost whacked me with that big stick when I was flopping on the bank. Amen. And if He'd have wanted to, He could have. He was just showing me that He could if He wanted. If I didn't turn and come back to Him. God can allow things to happen. Listen, I'm not saying God sins, but God can just say, I'm going to take my hands off of you a minute and see what happens. Why? Because the devil's waiting right there at the gate. He's just sitting all the time to see if there's a big enough crack in that gate to bust your life apart. And as a child of God, when you start becoming disobedient, or when you start doing your own thing, when you start paying more attention to your stuff than you do God's stuff, God will just pull that latch out of that gate and walk off. The devil's coming back to check that gate in a minute. And I'm telling you, if there's enough room for him to get his nose in, he's coming at you. And he's going to rip through your house. He's going to rip through your family. He's going to rip through your children. He's going to rip through your marriage, through your finances, and everything else you own. And he's going to tear it all up and destroy you if he can. That's why we, as God's people, have to make sure we mind in the gate. How you mind the gate? Mind God. He is the gate. Jesus is the gate. Amen. Don't want that gate to wide or swing open. Why? The devil's sniffing around all the time, trying to find a gap big enough to get into. And I'm telling you, it don't take much for the devil to come through there. Amen? Y'all know what I mean? Y'all been there? Amen. No, you do. Y'all help me out just a little bit. I can think by myself, but it sure goes a lot better if y'all encourage me a little bit. Amen. Every now and then wouldn't hurt. And listen, if these boys ain't big enough to do it, I'll take some from the girls. Amen. You girls go ahead and amen, because these boys are scared. They're just scared you'll get on to them when you get out in the car. So if you'll start it, they'll follow you, baby. Amen. Amen. Boys in here roost on the bedpost. Mama, can I get up? Mama, can I go get your coffee? Yeah, girl. I mean, yeah, we'll go get my coffee. I need to get your shoes, Mama. Yeah, I know what you mean. Amen. Amen. But you can go ahead and say amen. She'll be all right. Amen. That was free. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. So let's look. Just notice how small her faith was. It was so small. When she thought about it, she literally laughed. When you think about it coming up here this morning, pouring your heart out to God, saying, God, will you take me just like I am? That'd be a joke. It was a joke when I thought about it. I said, God couldn't do it. But he did. I trusted him. I didn't think there's no, that was funny, really. Really funny to think God could reach all the way down where I was at. He saved me. He did. He did. And he'll do it for you. So God's better than our faith, and God's bigger than our faith. And God's promises are built on our faith. So wonder why God don't do the thing. Everybody says the promises in the Bible. I claim all the promises in the Bible. Well, there's a condition to that. All those promises is with an if. If that will serve me. If that will follow me. If that will trust me. If thou wilt obey me. There's an if on all those. Only one ain't got an if on it is there ain't an if God save you. That's a definite. If you'll come, he'll answer. That's settled. If you'll come, he'll answer. Then there's a bunch of ifs. If you'll serve him, he said, Abraham, if you leave this place, I got a bigger land. I got a better land. I'll set you up, man. But you got to follow me. You got to trust me. I'm going to close. That don't really mean anything when I say that, but I like to throw it in there. Yes, it does. By faith, Abraham offered up his son. Abraham's faith done increased a little bit. It'd be a real stretch for me to say, yeah, Lord, you can have it. You can have my boy. You tell me I'm going to take a Austin to the mountaintop? No, Lord. I wish that I had that much faith. And I hope that I had that much faith. But I doubt that I have that much faith. But I want to have that much faith. So listen to me, Abraham didn't whoop that faith up by himself. That was a gift God gave him. See, faith is a gift. As you increase your commitment, then God increases your faith beyond what you even thought that you could think. That's more than I could ask or think, right? But the Bible says more than you could even ask or think. That got past what Abraham could even ask to think. He couldn't think like that. But he did. He loaded the wood on the mule, took off for the mountain. I was going home, I'm going on all the time. Daddy, we got the wood and all. Got to the mountaintop, said, Daddy, there's the wood and the fire. Where's the lamb? Little did I know he was the lamb. He was the lamb. And Abraham laid him on the altar, drew back the knife, ready to plunge it into him by faith. And God said, wait a minute, whoa, 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 whoa. That's good, Abraham. Take the boy off. But there's a ram caught in the thicket over there. Go get him. Slaughter him and put him on the altar. Just want to make sure you trusted me. Matter of fact, I knew how much you trusted me, but I wanted you to prove to yourself how much you trusted me. Amen? God said, I'll provide myself a lamb. So he himself became the lamb and died for us all. He died for you. He died for you. Just like you are. I'm talking about with all your failings and mistakes and idiosyncrasies and weird ideas and all that stuff that makes you who you are. God died for you just like that. Just like that. Well, Brother Jimmy, I want to get saved. I'm going to have to go to the house, clean up some stuff, change, you know. I'm going to start working some stuff. I'm going to quit this and start that. Then I'll come back. No. That's a losing game right there. Just go ahead and give that to God. What he wants you to turn loose of, he'll give you faith to turn loose of. As he gives you faith and you turn loose of that he gives you faith to turn loose of. And you start seeking for faith enough to turn loose of that it convicted you of. And when he gives it to you, act on it. Act on it. So this morning, there's enough faith in you to get you saved this morning. There's enough faith in you to get you saved. Abraham was walking around making little idols, making little gods out of carvings of wood and stone and all. He never walked around thinking, well, you know, if God was to ask me, I'd get saved. I'd leave this land. He never even thought about that. Till the Lord convicted his heart about it. The Lord said, Abraham, hey, you want forever? You want eternity? You want everything that heaven's got to offer? You want forgiveness of sin? You want to drop that load of guilt, that burden of pain and worry and conflict and strife and hurt? You want to let that go? Abraham said, say what? Let that go. And Lord, I carry this around all my life. God, I carry it around with me every day. You mean I can turn it loose? I can leave it here? I'm going to tell you right now, listen to me. I'm going to get you out of some stuff this morning. How many of you got some stuff going on? You're about to get out of it. Amen. We'll get you out of it this morning. Get you out of it this morning. Now you raised your hand and you said you admitted to God you wanted out of it. Let's see. Let's see if that's true. Because by faith, you can get out of it. You mean the problem wouldn't be there when I got home? I don't mean that at all. I mean that you'd have a totally different perspective on the problem you got, and you'd have the wisdom of God on how to make yourself and wade through it without ripping your guts out, without literally killing you and destroying your heart, your life, and your children, and all that you have. You go to God and just ask Him, Lord, forgive me. Don't come down and blame it on somebody else, because God's not going to forgive anybody's sin but yours when He talks to you. He don't want you to come down here for somebody else. Now, He might want you to come down here in hopes that somebody else would come because of your prayers. That's fine. But don't you come down here and tell God it's their fault that you ain't serving Him like you're supposed to. You're not being what you ought to be for Him. Don't tell Him that. But I gave you a way out. And you really got to decide. You got to decide. Here's what I found out about decisions. Some of the greatest advice I've ever heard. Some of the greatest advice I ever heard. Make a choice before you have to make a choice. Go and make it. Go ahead and make the choice. Go ahead and make the decisions in your life that I will not do. Well, when it comes to that, I know exactly how I handle that. I'll run to God and say, God, lead me through this thing, and I'll follow you all the way. Quit making out like you can handle everything. You can't. You can't do nothing but make a mess out of what's going on in your life. If you leave God out of it, why? Because God will just lift the gate up further. You think you got the devil by the horns? He got more than horns behind that gate. And if the whole gate gets kicked open, he's going to be all on you. So don't think that you're going to win by yourself when you pit yourself against the devil himself. You're going to lose. And the devil's going to win. But listen to me, you can call on one that's already won. Amen. You can call on one that can do like that. The devil run to the corner and hide and start whimpering when our God stomps his foot. I want him on my side. You can have him on your side today. We close it. Your decision time. You came in lost. You came in undone. You came in hurting, beat up, bruised, broken. God wants to heal you right now. You got to let him. God's a gentleman. He won't force his way in. He won't come and overcome you and drag you to the altar. He won't do it. He wants to love you down there, not drag you down there. God loves you. He gave everything for you. He wants to save you today. Let him do the work that only he can do. You want to be saved before you leave? You want to know that when you die, you wake up in glory? Or do you want to leave here with that in your mind? Wait a minute. If this were the last day and I had no other chance, there's nothing but hell waiting on me. There's a fire of torment, eternally burning and separated from God. Quick story. I hate to do this, but I feel like I've got to. R.G. Lee told this story. The truth. R.G. Lee was one of the greatest men of God. I read after him all the time. One of the greatest authors I ever knew. One of the greatest preachers I ever knew. And if he said it happened, I take him at his word. Back when he was a big revival evangelist. And in those days, when the evangelists came to town, the families of the church took the preacher to lunch at their home. And it was a very personal time. And these two great people of the church taking the evangelist home, Brother R.G. Lee, ate lunch with him and just fellowshiped with him. And they had a beautiful blonde, blue-eyed, popular darling of a 17-year-old girl. Beautiful young lady. Beautiful young lady. But they told Brother Lee that, Brother Lee, every time we've ever asked her, every time that she ever seems to have come under conviction, she'll turn you down. She'll turn the Lord down. The Lord, she's 17, and we know that, we don't know when, but soon she'll be going out into the world. And in the hopes of her being saved will really lessen a great deal. And Lord, she may never get saved. So Brother Lee, will you really pray that God would touch her before this? And he just loved, these were the sweetest folks. They were great, godly people, but they had a daughter that was rebelling. And last night of the revival, to move the story on, last night of the revival, Brother Lee was just so loaded down, and the invitation was ended, and he had preached the salvation message, and he had put his whole heart in it, done everything he could do, say everything he could think of, tried everything he could try, and she wouldn't move. There were children on both sides of the altar there. One saved, another one saved, this one saved, that one saved, and there stood that blonde-headed girl, about 3 pews from the back, right at the end, right there on the aisle. And Brother Lee walked back there to her and said, look, please, I beg you, don't leave here tonight and turn God down again. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. And he went back and they give another verse of invitation. He couldn't stand it. Brother R.J., this is an older man. He went back there, fell on his knees in front of the girl, 17 years old. He said, I'll do anything I have to do. Whatever I have to do, please don't leave her tonight. Lost like the Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Mom and Daddy and the girl got in the car, headed toward home, just a few miles from the church where they lived. The track they took every service time after time after time after time. And they went up toward the house, sitting there waiting to turn across the highway to go into the driveway. They'd done thousands of times. When they turned across to go into the driveway, traffic came, an oncoming car, hit them, smashed them, and flipped it into the wind. Well, the mother and dad were thrown from the vehicle. The girl was in the back seat and in a seatbelt. Her daddy scrambled off the ground and got back over there to the window where he could see her in there. And she said, Daddy, get me out of here. Daddy, get me out of here. I was supposed to get saved tonight. I know I was supposed to when Brother Lee was talking to me. Oh, don't leave me here, Daddy. Get me out of here, Daddy. Get me out of here, Daddy. And the daddy tried with everything he had to bust the window. He couldn't bust the window. He jerked on the door, jerked and jerked and jerked. And she became more frantic and more frantic and more frantic. Said, Daddy, please, get me out of here. Don't let me die like this, Daddy. Don't let me die like this, Daddy. Please, get me out of here. And he done everything he could do. And the flames started to engulf the car. And his arms were blistering up and just burning to a crisp. And he's still jerking on the door handle. And as the flames closed up to where he could even see her anymore, he could hear her crying and moaning, Daddy, please, please. He said, baby, pray. Pray and ask God to save you. And he said, pray and ask God to save you, baby. It's the only hope you got, and chance you have. There's nothing else left. I can't get you out. Pray. And she said, Daddy, I can't pray. Daddy, get me out of here. I can't pray. Help me, Daddy. And the flames engulfed it. The whole thing went up. And that was it. And she entered into a devil's hand. That was her last opportunity to have been saved. When Brother R.G. Lee was on the floor begging her, God was breaking his heart, saying, look, R.G., get rid of your pride. Crawl on your belly. Do whatever you got to do. Go down there and peg with that girl. Do whatever you got to do. Get that girl saved. Don't you let her leave here like that. And he done everything he could do. And he was so heartbroken. And then really, heartbreak set in when the mom and daddy come back to the church. They made the officer bring him back to the church, and the preacher was still on the porch. And he's thinking, get out of the car. Come toward him. No little girl. No baby that they loved. That they gave everything for. That they dedicated their whole life to. The baby didn't get out of the car. Just a moment. And then he ready to bring him. They had to have him up in the church. He couldn't bear the pain. He said, oh God, did I do enough? Did I do everything you asked me to? God, did I fail you? Did I fail her? God, could I have said something else? Could I have done something else? God, it's my fault. Oh, I don't want it to be my fault today. I'll do everything I can do. Did you respond to this invitation time? God loves you. God showed you more times than just today that you're lost. God's reaching out for you right now with an expectation that you'll come. Oh, am I trying to scare you? I don't want to scare you. I just want to give you raw reality. That's all. If raw reality scares you, then you want to be scared. There's a purpose for that. Human beings have a system built in us to preserve our own life. Don't blame me. Well, so he just uses scare tactics. Listen to me. If scaring you would get you saved, I'd go for that. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to lay out the facts just like they happen in this story. From a man of God that I trust told the truth and nothing but the truth, and the daddy stood on that porch and said, Brother R.G., everywhere you go, share my daughter's story so her death not be in vain. Share my daughter's story so it'll break some heart and bring them to the altar of repentance. Amen. Father, we close. God, I've done all I can do. I don't know anything else. But God, I believe you've used me to preach enough, to say enough, to do enough, to save the world. Just by what's been preached here today. God has certainly been enough to break the heart of that one that's been resisting you. God has done enough to move them to the altar of repentance. God have mercy in this room this day. God have mercy in this room this day. As you open up the door to heaven and you say, come on in. God, let them please respond to that call of the Holy Ghost. Now that pull, that draw of the Holy Spirit. God, let them come to an altar of repentance this morning. You be glorified in all that we do. In Christ's name, amen and amen.